Okay, guys and girls, welcome back to FTRL for a brand new season on a brand new game. Everything's brand new and we are ready to rock and roll here tonight with Division 2 at Hockenheim in Germany, one of the returning circuits on this year's calendar. Joining me in the booth for this evening is my old pal FTRL Panini, also known as Pagani. How you doing, mate?
Oh, not too bad, you?
Yeah, very well, mate. Excited for this. If it's anything like Div 1 race last night, we should be in for a treat. And with wet quali, that'll certainly mix up a few things. It'll be interesting to see what setups people go for and everything like that. Obviously, we are in the sort of loop. We don't really know what's going on too much. But, yeah, you looking forward to it?
I'm definitely looking forward to this wet qualifying because I haven't seen much wet weather on this game yet, so it'll be nice to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm just on board with FTRL Daddy, who will be in the Red Bull. We'll go through the teams very soon. Obviously, we get 6 minutes longer in qualifying on this game, which is a nice little feature for us. We've also got the return of the safety car, which seems to be working okay so far, touch wood. And we will be introducing the formation lap, as the game physics on F1 2018 have improved by quite some margin. Oh, we got a 5-place grid penalty for Cress for a collision. That is not a good start for him, but we'll get through to that in just a second. We'll have the formation lap on because if you really honestly need to warm up your tyres properly on this game, if you don't and your tyres are cold at the start along with your brakes, you will get a horrific start. So in terms of racing simulation, it's certainly improved. The first time that has been set has been done by Raver's Revenge, who is an early favourite for the championship with a 124.7. So, yeah, Pagani, talk me through how you're finding this game so far, mate, before we get into the teams.
Personally, I enjoy the gameplay, but I'm struggling with some of the physics so far. Like, I'm overheating the tyres quite a lot, so hopefully that doesn't affect the guys tonight. I mean, if it rains, anything can happen, but...
Yeah, exactly.
You? Are you?
Yeah, mate, it's good. I mean, I like the fact that it's not one of those things now where you can literally just turn it on and you play and it's all just down to what assist you use kind of thing, because now, you know, you could be the quickest driver on the game, but if you can't manage your tyres properly and they overheat, you've just got no chance. So there is so many things to look out for and so many things to sort of perfect in this game that it certainly throws a bit of a spanner into the works. So let's just go on.
I'm not sure if Andy was like in the formation lap. He was getting more nervous as he went round to reform the grid in the race.
Yeah. It is a bit of a test though, especially like when you're doing league racing and stuff. There's a lot of people that, you know, do get very tense before a league race, myself included. So when you've got the formation lap, it either works in your favour or drastically against you, because it either builds your nerves up or it helps you settle down before the start. But anyway, going on through the teams and the lineups for this division, obviously we do on the spectator cam now have the luxury of seeing the colours of the vehicles next to the people's names, so that is a good point for reference. Go on.
Agent Panda's gone round.
Is he?
It's turn 2 by the looks of it.
Right.
Unfortunately. So.
We'll have a look at him in just a second. So, actually, speaking of Agent Panda, he is in the Mercedes as the number 2 driver. He's completely new to league racing. It's his first ever competitive race this evening. So we do wish him well. Obviously, it's early days for him, but hopefully we'll see a lot of improvements for him as the season goes on. I think he's just aiming to kind of get a bit of experience under his belt for now, and he's joined by one of the championship favourites, Raver's Revenge. Would you say that's a fair statement?
I would definitely say that's a fair statement, and I would also say that the preheated oven, it's better if you have 4 wheels on your car. Turn 1 appears to have claimed its first victim of the weekend. Right,
well, I think we'll see a lot of that tonight and a lot of penalties as well. But moving on to Ferrari, we've got Cress and City Posh Blue, 2 new drivers. They, in my opinion, are probably the favourites for the constructors this season. Both very, very quick, and I think they're going to cause a lot of problems this season. So obviously it's not run on the first race weekend, but I think over the course of the season they will be quick. In the Red Bull we have got FTRL Blue Flag, who is the admin for this division. alongside FTRL Daddy. So, Agent Panda's had a spin going to the final corner, unfortunately. But yeah, so the Red Bull, strong lineup. Obviously, FTRL Daddy joined us towards the end of the last season, and he ended up winning a Racing Performance League. So, being completely new to league racing, within a few weeks he's won his first race. So, it could be one to watch out for this season. Now, the Force India team, Pagani, do you want to talk us through that one?
Alright, I mean, the downside of this team is it does have Dan, or Rich T Gaming as he's known to everybody else. He can be known as a bit of a bottle job, but he's a good lad, so hopefully he can get his act together and get near the front this season. And then it's claimed second driver, but I don't think that's his preferred term. It's Goy Karp, the legend, the myth.
Yeah.
He is like the god of F1 2018. So
Yeah.
any bets, like, put them on him.
Yeah, if any of you don't follow the FTRL Twitter page, I think you would. You're missing out, because pretty much every day there's something going on. We've been linking Goy to Ferrari. He's been approached by esports teams. There's a lot of things been going on, so he's definitely one of the biggest characters in the division. But yeah, in the Williams we've got Tim 12, one of the new drivers, and we have got someone with possibly the best name in FTRL, which is the preheated oven. So there's a lot of puns that are going to be made over the course of this season, and I look forward to making them with you, Pagani, mate. Toonpat has gone for a spin at turn 1, and there goes his wing, unfortunately.
As long as Toonpat doesn't crash into the preheated oven, we're fine.
Yeah. But right, so moving on to the next team is Tim Tonnerre, I think that's how you say his name, and the Quakes. They will be in the Renault. Interestingly, just while we're here, Prototype Steph has gone out on the intermediate tyres. I'm not sure that's the right call at the moment, but you never know. It could be looking to dry up soon. It could be a good call. In the Toro Rosso, we have got Matt Cors, who is a lot of people's tip for promotion this season. Obviously, 4 people go up, 4 people come down, and Matt Cors being tipped as one of the ones that could potentially go up, providing that he keeps it clean. He has got a lot of pace, Matt Cors, and no one wants him to do better than what I do, but I just hope he can keep it clean and not lose his head too quickly, because that can be one of his downfalls.
I hope he's in a party with somebody who can cool him down and just chill him out. Because if his head goes, he can be known to make some slightly dubious calls when placing his car, but hopefully he's chilled tonight and ready for this new season in FTRL.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And his teammate is Tulco Racer, who is one of the new drivers, who's unfortunately not able to make it this evening, which is a shame. In the Haas, we have got the other league admin, which is FTRL Hammer Time, previously known as Tezza, and he is teamed up with Bendel again for the second season running in the same car, which is the Haas car. So your tip for the constructors, if I'm not mistaken, Pagani?
Yes, it is. I've got a lot of faith in Hammer Time this season. I think he's going to come good. He was the Neely guy last season, I believe. It was almost there, but I think he's going to come good this season.
Yeah, well, he's now got experience of a race win as well, because he won in the performance in Hungary, which is possibly the greatest race that FTRL has ever had. That performance race in Hungary, where we had like 9 or 10 cars in a train for 15, 20 laps. It was just unbelievable. And then in the McLaren we've got Prototype Steph and Willy Tix. I think there's a team that a lot of people, City Posh has had a spin, unfortunately. Steph and Willy Tix are 2 people that have got a very, very good chance. What's happened to Goy? Goy's retired in the pit lane, unfortunately. But yeah, those guys have got a good chance of the constructors, and they're probably the ones that are going to go quietly about their business and find themselves up towards the top end of the table. So, and then the final team is 2 new guys, which are Chicken Guy and Toon Patter, who are both with us tonight. Toon Patter, unfortunately, we see just had a spin, but hopefully his luck will change soon. But it's certainly looking like a very competitive division this year, mate. What do you think?
I think there's lots of different groups of guys that are going to be very close on track. So hopefully it's going to produce some very good racing, which I think that it can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we've got some support for the Tims in the chat.
Nice. Well, welcome along everybody in the chat. We'll try and keep an eye on it. If you want to say anything to be mentioned on the stream, any questions, please pop them in and we will 100% answer them. But just on board with FTRL Hammer Time at the moment, going for a flying lap as he's coming down into turn 2. On the throttle nicely, doesn't push too hard. Bit of a poor exit. I know this.
Another thing in the rain is it's very difficult to manage the battery in the rain.
Yeah.
But because you can sort of just like have too much, so you put it on hot lap all the time, and then it's just giving you poor exits out of every corner.
Yeah.
Is what I've found.
And Toon Patter unfortunately retires from the session there. So there we can see him just on the left hand side. Well, Hammer Time's on a pretty good lap here so far. I think he had a bit of a poor exit going onto the main straight before the hairpin, but it's been a pretty solid lap. I think the grip might be starting to get a little bit better now, but at the moment Raver's Revenge is leading, or is on provisional pole by 4 tenths to Matt Gould's at the moment, and then FTRL, Blue Flag and Hammer Time, the two admins, occupy the second row. So still 4.5 minutes left. I'm sure we're going to see a final blast for most of them now. I'd be interested to see whether it's a dry or a wet race.
City Posh has had a slight spin in coming into the stadium section.
Okay, Hammer Time has gone second. He's jumped Matt Cause with a 1:25.0. So your tip's looking good, mate. And I definitely said tip, nothing else. Just want to make that abundantly clear. But I suppose one thing to point out as well is if you have a completely dry race weekend, a lot of the tracks now, the fastest tyre that you qualify on will only last you a few laps. I mean, we saw it last night where the ultra softs only last 4 or 5 laps at most. In Singapore, they basically last 1 lap.
Yeah, I found that out in the practice race.
So we actually saw some of the guys who qualified outside the top 10 benefit well last night, like the likes of Katamise and people like that, by only being able to have to do a 1 stop. But unfortunately now, those guys aren't going to have that luxury tonight, because if we have a dry race, everyone's going to get a free selection of tyres. So I imagine we'll only see 1 stops for the vast majority of this, dependent on how people can manage their tyres now. Right, Cress has gone pole by 5.5 tenths.
Is Rivers going to respond? He's still in the pitch at the moment.
Okay. Yep, so just over 5.5 tenths, so it's a cracking time by Cress. Raver's in the pits. Chicken Guy's now gone second as well, so the track is starting to get a little bit better. I think Ravers, we will see him come out.
Ooh, I just saw Chicken Guy. I know you've already mentioned it, but
yeah,
I'm a bit slow.
Well,
I'm a bit rusty.
I think Hammer Time's made a bit of a... I don't know what he's doing here, because he looks like he's pushing again, but he's only got about 50% battery. He's got it in hot lap, so he's obviously pushing for a flying lap, but he's not going to have as much battery to deploy, so he's going to lack there, unfortunately. The Quake's sitting nicely in P8 at the moment. If we can find him, that'll be lovely.
Ravers is coming out of the pit lane, so he's going to go for a flyer at the end. Katamise is happy that he got a shout out in the stream for his race yesterday.
Yeah, well done, Katamise. My teammate for Division 1 in the Ferrari. I thought he was excellent yesterday. So it's nice to see Katamise driving how we know he can drive. He didn't have the best of seasons last time out. I don't think he'll mind me saying that, but I thought he was excellent last night. So looking forward to racing with him this season.
Kowandi's liking the new setup on screen that tells you how many laps you've done on a set of tyres for the commentary team.
Yeah, it's wicked, isn't it? Really, really is good. Appreciate the boys tuning in for the race.
And City Posh Blue reckons there's not much grip out there.
No, that's quite evident, unfortunately for him. But then again, and Tim 12 as well. We know he's got some pace about him. Right, well, Tez is now gone. The Quakes is... I think he just improved, but he didn't improve by too much, unfortunately.
Well, the Quakes has done 4 laps on 1 set of tyres, so...
Right, well, Willie Tix is on the intermediate tyres. So I don't know, it doesn't look like... This is out lap, but Doesn't say that it is. No. I think what we're going to have to do here is go on board with Raver's Revenge. There's a crashed Ferrari right in front of us. So Raver's Revenge heading down into turn 2. Hard on the brakes. We've got that revving glitch, unfortunately.
Yeah. Cress is in the stadium section.
Yeah. But Raver's going down this long, winding left-hander down towards the hairpin, which would be turn 4. Needs to get this right.
Cress is out of the last corner. Keeps it off the curb. Is it going to be quicker?
23.5. So Ravers
down.
is 1.1 seconds off at the moment. This is the only lap he's going to be able to get in. I'd love to go on board of him, but unfortunately the car's revving too much. Interestingly enough, Raver's Revenge has the same.
Quicker.
Yeah, Ravers has the same helmet as I had in F1 2017.
He'll probably crash all the time then.
Yeah. It's looking like a good lap from Ravers so far. I know he's been putting in the practice, so let's see if it's paid off. But whatever happens, he's going to be up there. Bit of a slide as he approaches the final complex, coming around the second to last corner. Needs to keep this tight. Ooh, runs a little bit wide.
Simon to the line.
Yeah.
Was
on
5th.
To the final straight. Ravers Revenge, does he make pole? No, he doesn't. 2.5 attempts behind Cress. Still very impressive.
Coming to the line. What can Matt Cause do?
Oh, he's had a bit of a slide. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
Somebody got disqualified and all of that. I'm not sure who it was.
The Quakes.
The Quakes.
Not
That's
too sure
unfortunate.
why. Okay, so that's our final classification. So the Quakes has now ended up losing out from his P8 position. So the Renaults were on the 4th row together and he's now been disqualified. So maybe he was parked in a bad location and didn't move. Okay. But anyway, so we've got Cress and Raver's Revenge occupying the front row with Chicken Guy and I believe, was it Hammer Time in P4? Was it Simon?
It was Hammer Time.
We shall do the final classifications in just a second when it decides to load. There may be spectator glitches where it looks like the pit crew aren't in and stuff like that, but we'll come to that as it goes. But yeah, so Hammer Time in 4th, Blue Flag in P5, Matt Cause in 6th, Tim Tonair in 7th, FTRL Daddy in P8. That's a good qualifying session from him, we'll be happy with that. Tim 12 in 9th and Prototype Steph rounding off the top 10. The Preheated Oven and Willie Tix on the same row. Brilliant. On row 6, Bendel and City Posh Blue, and on row 7, Agent Panda and Goy Cup the last set of time. Toon Patter retired, and unfortunately the Quakes DSQ'd from the session, so they'll be starting from the back. Right, people in the chat and Pagani, I'll be asking you as well, who is your tip for the podium tonight in order?
Rivers, Tell and Steph.
As a top 3 in that order?
In that order.
Nice. Keep an eye on the chat for us, let me know what people think. I'm going to say Ravers for the win. I think Chicken Guy is going to come 2nd, and I think Simon's going to come 3rd. Or Blue Flag, should I say. But yeah, it looks
dry.
It does look dry, but I'm not too sure whether the track still looks a little bit damp.
Yeah, it looks misty, but that just might be my eyes.
No, it's definitely not your eyes. I wonder whether it's my vaping thing, but it's not. It does look a little bit misty.
We've got Kurt Roberts in the chat with Chicken, Cress and Goy Carp in that order.
Nice. Love that. Okay, so we are ready for the formation lap. Let's hope people don't start getting out of formation. That's the whole purpose of it. I must say the cars do look gorgeous on this game.
I don't know what's happened to Doom Patter.
Yeah, well, where it says disqualified from the session, they only get disqualified and they get put back on the grid before the race starts. So,
Catamise is betting on Ravers with all of his money. I think that's €40, but I'm 40 pence. I don't know what it is in euro. I'm not sure. I'm not a man of the world.
Right, Chicken Guy just popped in saying he's got no game volume, unfortunately. So I've just told him to pause and unpause. Ravers will win. Yep.
Oh, I'm seeing a couple of guys not actually warming the tyres, and that could be bad for the start.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed we have a good start to the race now.
According to me, I've got nobody on the ultra soft tyre.
That's a good point. That's what I've not looked at. Okay, so Raver's starting on the mediums, who's looking to be faster in the final stint. Chicken Guy and Hammer Time on the softs. Blue Flag on the mediums with Matt Cause. And then the rest of the guys down to P10 on the softs.
I think, I don't know if the two best mates have come together, but Hammer Time and Blue Flag have been disqualified.
Yeah, probably. They always tend to do it. But it does look a little bit cloudy, so there's a possibility we could see some rain. But yeah, so if you can do me a favour, Pagani, and keep an eye on the middle of the pack for me, I will be with the front runners for lights out. But it's an easy one stop now for these guys, but for any incidents.
I shall keep an eye on my surprise pick, and that'll be Steph.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's that moment they've all been waiting for. We have 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. Ravers Revenge has had a lightning start straight away. No problems at all. Hammer Time's got past Chicken Guy. They're going to touch going to turn one. No, they are not. A few cars run wide, but it looks fairly clean so far. City Posh has had a problem. As I've seen him drop down the order.
Yeah, he's
Hammer
back to turn one.
Chicken Guy had a bit of a lunge at Hammer Time there, but luckily, absolutely fine. Let's see position changes. There's not been that many so far.
Tim Tonnerre's got a 5-second stop go for corner cutting, taking a place.
Yep. Well, I think we're going, what, 4 wide at this point?
Oh! I think Steph just made it 3 wide with Blue Flag and Daddy, so both Rebels.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I've seen a little bit of debris fly off. I think that was from Willie Tix's McLaren. I think he's got a little bit of damage there. Oh, that's close between... Well, Cress is... What's happened to Cress? Oh yeah, he had the 5-place grid penalty, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember at the start of qualifying? Yeah, so Ravers actually started on pole. Right, okay. So moving a little bit further down the order, Simon's had a nightmare of a start. He's dropped down to P11, he's lost 7 positions. Goy Carp's moved up a couple to P14.
Steph has had a flyer. He's made up 4 places. Both McLarens have. 4 and 5 places respectively.
Oh, that was close. Tim 12, Cress, Tim Tonem, Willie Tix. God, this is really, really close. Bit of a lock up. Oh, there's a bit of a touch. The two Tims going at it.
Unfortunately, Toon Patter just left the session. I don't know if that's lagged out or if he's had enough.
Yeah, I think it might have been a lag problem. Prototype Steph is flying. He's right on the back of FTRL Daddy, who's had a great start up into P5 already. Ravers has got a 1.3 second gap to Hammer Time, who has got a 1.5 second gap to Matt Core. So Matt Core's currently on the podium as well. So good start from those boys.
What I am finding is it's very difficult to see if people have damage.
Yeah, that is the difficult thing, unfortunately, but not too much we can do about it at this moment in time. But we're staying on board with this little train now, and this battle for P8 because there's about five cars in the train. The two Tims going side by side, heading into the stadium section. Tim 12 still just about keeps it. Ravers is absolutely flying at the moment. He's in a commanding position. This could be... I'm just trying to think, how many people... All Prototype Steph's got a 3-second time penalty already. That's going to be massive tonight, I think, time penalties.
Yeah, turn 1 is so bad for penalties on this game. It is horrendous.
Oh, the Quakes have a bit of a lunge on Simon there. Simon's had to cut the grass a little bit. He's had a nightmare of a start. Maybe it was a little bit of nerves, maybe he had a bit of a wobble. Easily done.
Simon's only got 20% battery already.
Has he? Oh yeah, he has. Oh yeah, so just for the spectators, for anybody that doesn't know, the battery percentage of the ERS is down the bottom, obviously where the percentage is, and the little number just above it with a lightning bolt next to it shows what mode they're in. So it ranges from 0 to 5, none being 0, which is the lowest one, and then 5 being the highest, which is hot lap. So you will be able to see how people are managing their ERS lap by the two little indicators either side of the battery percentage. If it's got a D next to it on the left hand side, that's how much they've used in a lap, and with the H next to it is how much they've saved in a lap. So it'll be a good indication of how they're managing in battles and stuff. We can keep an eye on that as we go through. Oh, there's been a touch. The two Tims. Oh, Tim. Is it the Quakes? No, it's the Quakes. It's tyres.
I'm sure I just saw rain.
He's going to spin. At some point, I think his tyres are completely overheated already.
I'm seeing rain.
Are you?
It's raining.
Oh yeah, it is. There is rain. So that's interesting for the people that started on mediums. Maybe the rain was expected maybe halfway through, and they thought, that's a really strange call. The rain must be expecting to hit quite heavily about mid-race.
Yeah.
You say Majestic was in the chat?
Yeah.
Welcome
said that turn one's very tricky.
Yeah, turn one is
it's nice
tricky.
to see him.
Yeah, nice to see
I've
you,
seen
mate.
him for a while.
Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. Oh, Willie Tick's suffering with a bit of lag on my screen. Maybe it's just a spectator thing, but
I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
no, please don't. Anyway, right, we're going back on board with the with some of the front runners. Chicken Guy and the Sauber closing down Macros.
Oh, we got yellow flag. It's up to Bendel.
Is it Bendel?
Bendel's in the gravel in the stadium section.
He's in the gravel with a complete lack of front wing by the looks of things, from what I can see past that halo. Oh, Bendel's in the gravel now. Get himself into the pits and go again. Yeah, he's struggling, Bendel.
I see the preheated oven's got some front wing damage.
Yeah.
I want to guess that's about yellow front wing, just from experience.
Yeah, I'd say so. But yeah, from the front left of it, the end plate's completely gone. Goy Carp in P13.
Oh, Tim Tenair and Willie Tix.
Oh yeah, they're going at it. And the McLaren.
Tim Tenair just did a nice move into the hairpin. It wasn't one of your famous switchbacks, so don't get too excited yet.
Oh, something's happened. To blue flag.
Simon?
He's in the wall. Something has happened.
Where is he?
He's collided. Right.
Like, you don't normally go off there unless you had contact with somebody.
Yeah, well, Goy Carp moved up 2 positions in, so I think it could have been Tim 12 and Simon. But yeah, Goy's just one place outside of the points at the moment. He's under pressure from City Posh, but either way, Goy started the race very, very well indeed. Now, what is the closest battle on track? Is probably Cress and Prototype Steph, and this little train now for P5. FTRL Daddy going really, really well actually in P5. He wasn't feeling confident at all before this. Poor Cress with that traction. He's obviously, I think he's a no assist runner, Cress. So I'm just going to pick your brain, Pagani, quickly. Who in this division has won a race in FTRL? Like an official race. Ravers hasn't. Right, Hammer Time has in the Performance League. That's one. Daddy has. Simon has a blue flag. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that maybe one of the Tims at the back end of Div 2 last season. Can't remember.
No, they haven't. I literally think it's just those 3. So whatever happens, unless those guys win every single race, which I think is highly unlikely, as Cress has run wide out of turn 1, we're going to see how a lot of people can handle the pressure of leading or potentially fighting for a race win. Tim 12 is right on the back of the preheated oven. The 2 teammates, they're both run extremely wide. A lot of people struggling with turn 1, with the rain is coming down.
Yeah, I think this rain's going to make it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Simon
Oh,
being down in
Daddy's gone wide at the hairpin.
Is he?
He's let Steph by. And Cress is up the inside going at the fast king. Oh, this is going to be tricky in the rain. Oh.
Well, he's held it nicely. Fair play to him. Well, he is one that's got experience of a race win, so he should be able to deal with the pressure a little bit better than some of the others. This is a very, very close fight. Ooh,
oh,
he's had a wobble, and Cress is going to go up the inside. It should be a move done.
Oh,
Steph's done.
Steph's gone.
He's taken the curb and he's gone from a really, really good position. And Cress has now moved up into P5, and he's drifted around the final corner.
Oh, Steph's gone again. I think it might be time to think about tyres.
Yeah, possibly. Although a lot of people are still keeping some pace. Raver's Revenge is controlling this race at the moment. 2 seconds is the advantage. The grip doesn't seem too bad. It doesn't seem great, but it doesn't seem too bad. Well, they've had a full wet qualifying, and they've got a change in conditions in the race for the first race of the season. So, if we wanted to see what they're really made of, then tonight is the night for that, I think. Tim's on there getting down on the traction far too quickly there and nearly sending himself off.
Oh, the preheated oven has just gone up the inside of Steph, and there was some slight contact, I'll say.
Slight being an understatement, or?
Well, I didn't see the preheated oven until I heard a crash.
Right, Steph's just lost a bit of his front wing by hitting the back of the preheated oven. I still can't say it without that little giggle. I apologise, everybody. Right, chicken guy right on the back of Matt Cors now. DRS is still enabled.
I don't think I've done a wet race yet, so I don't know when the crossover point is for tyres yet. I know the last game when DRS was disabled, that's when you pitted. But I'm not sure if you can pit before that on this game yet.
Oh, that was very, very close.
Chicken guy definitely locked up there.
Yeah, well, my better half has come out with a fantastic pun, saying that Prototype Steph has hit the back of the preheated oven and got burned. So, there's another pun that we can use. Thank you very much. This is going to be a very close battle. Now, is that hammer time?
Oh.
It's just right there.
What's happened to Bendel?
Bendel's gone. Where's Bendel gone?
I don't know, we can't click on him anymore.
Oh, no, that is a shame. That's it. That's really annoying that you can't see. Anyway, Raver's Revenge, 2.5 seconds clear. Comfortable. Got a 50% battery, just running in medium. In cruise control. Hammer time in a very similar position. Matt Cors has got 80% battery, so he's managing that extremely well. And Chicken Guy basically on full charge as well, so these guys seem to be doing the right things. I'm going to go back down to Tim 12 as he's on the back of the preheated oven. It took him ages to enable DRS then as well. But a lot of these guys are running extremely wide at turn 1 every single time. So I imagine that penalties will be quite high coming into this race. Tim
Cress
really
is currently defending from Tim Tonnet.
Right, I'm just on the Tim 12 about to make the move on the preheated oven. He goes to the defensive line, but I think he's just kind of given the position back to his teammate there and said, "You crack on, mate." Okay, so let's go back up to this battle between Tim Tonnerre and Cress.
I think they're both no assist users, or at least break assist, because they're both logging up. So
Yeah.
it's...
Well, in terms of no assist drivers in here, I think we've got a few. Oh, what's happened?
The preheated oven's just gone around the outside of Tim 12. Oh,
Oh, it's close. The teammates are going for it. Oh, Tim's off. Locked up, straight into the gravel. These conditions are proving difficult. I think Simon's now caught up to those guys, so he's just on a recovery drive now. Agent Panda's doing alright in P15, only 1.5 seconds behind Simon. So he's keeping with the pace, which I think he'll be extremely happy with. Goy Carp only 2.2 seconds off of some points. So
Tim Snare and Cress are side by side coming up there.
Indeed they are. Now who was leading this battle? Was Crest just in front? He was, wasn't he? So Tim must have... Oh, they're going to go side by side around here.
Oh.
For those wondering, Pagani's not in labour. He just tends to get a bit overexcited about the some overtakes in this race.
Well, you say I'm not in labour. I mean, I'm quite fat, if that counts.
Oh, Crest running very wide on the final corner. Tim's had a bit of a slide. Yeah, this grip's starting to go.
Yeah, and I think the softs in dry conditions last about lap 15 if you extend them. So it's getting to what pit stop time
close
for the soft
to that
runners.
time. So maybe, like I said, maybe the medium runners are all. Chris had a slide. Yeah, the grip is starting to go. So the soft runners, they need to basically hope now that the DRS gets disabled within the next couple of laps, but it doesn't look that wet to me yet.
Chicken guys caught up to Matt Cause. So it's, the preheated oven is in the pits.
Okay, right. Oh, Tim Tonnerre went off there, ever so slightly, run a bit wide. Who's into the pit? Sorry, the preheated oven. What tyres is he going to go on? Cress is sliding absolutely everywhere.
I think the Williams team have just made it a quick burrito and now he's back on his way.
Lovely. Has he gone back onto soft tyres?
He has on my screen.
He has, yeah. Right, so the people at the real advantage at the moment is Raven's Revenge, Matt Cause, City Posh, Prototype Steph and Blue Flag.
The preheated oven is currently facing the wrong way.
Right, that's not normally the best tactic, but we'll see how that one plays out for him. But we're going to stay on board with Chicken Guy, who has a completely fully charged battery now, so I think he's at a point now where he's just trying to stay comfortable. I don't think he's that interested in trying to overtake. He's only got... Yeah.
The preheated oven span at turn 2 and there's taken off the other half of his wing after he just got it fixed.
Nightmare for him. Absolute nightmare.
It's a shame because he's a great lad and I can only see better things from him this season, hopefully.
Yeah.
But he's getting out of the way nicely for Ravers, so...
Set to all hammer times run wide, which has allowed Matt Cause to close right up to the back of him, so we've now got a three-way train for P2. Ravers is just extending his advantage up to 6 seconds now, so at this precise moment in time, touch wood without any commentator's curse, should be the favourite for the win here.
Tim 12's pitted.
Tim
and gone on the softs again on my screen.
Right, okay. It must be really the right hammer time's in.
Hammer time's in.
The preheated oven is back in as well.
Tim 12 sideways coming out of pit lane. Fresh tyres are lethal.
Chicken Guy with DRS and Matt Cause right up behind him. Matt Cause's straight line speed does look very good, I must say. Tim 12 needs to get out of the way of this battle pretty quickly.
Preheated oven's gone on Inters.
Right, we can
and
see
we've got 5 cars in the pits.
Right, we can see a
Hammer
move.
times.
We're going to see a move. Chicken Guy going up the inside of Matt Cause. If Matt's sensible, Matt will just sit behind him, not put too much pressure on himself. Could go for a switch back. No. He's going for
too much curb.
Matt doesn't need to push. He just needs to sit behind him. He's in a much better position at the moment. He's on the medium tyres. They will last longer than those softs. He just needs to sit behind.
We've got 4 cars in intermediates.
Yeah.
Hammer time, City Posh, Willie Ticks. Oh, Steph now.
Well, as it currently stands, Goy Carp is in the points.
Simon's pitted for Inters now. And is overtaken Steph.
Maybe they're all getting a call from Jeff. Well, I'm just on board with Hammer Time. I'm just going to see how the
Oh,
tyres
Rivers.
look.
Rivers is in the pit lane.
Right, I'm just going to stay on board with Tezza. Hammer Time.
Chicken
What?
guy's staying out.
The inters don't look too bad.
Rivers is on Inders. Macos is pitting.
Yeah.
Someone I guess he's going on Inders.
I think it's about that time now.
Tim Tenair's staying out. Cress coming in. FTRL Daddy's staying in.
Right, Rave's Revenge has come out in P2.
Goy is sideways. Like, he's been watching too much Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Goy needs to come into the pits now, which he's going to do.
Yeah,
nice and steady. Keep it steady, Goy. There we go. Beautiful. Turn that engine down.
Quakes is in. I think he's just pitted as well a lap before, so that's unfortunate.
Okay, excellent. Right, well, Goy Carp's in. So what I'm going to do is just keep an eye. Wow, Maccor's always... Tezza went defensive there. Maccor's had to pull out the move. Tezza's gone wide.
Oh,
Hammer
switch
time.
back, switch back. Oh!
He's got the traction. Oh, he's had to pull out.
Oh! I've never seen Maccor's pull out of a move before, that's a first.
Yeah, oh, Tezza's grass. Oh! Oh, he's hit him. And he's retired. What a shame.
I can only
What a
imagine one
nightmare.
word that Maccor's is saying right now.
Yeah, me too. But I don't
is.
think it's affected him. It hasn't taken it off any of his wing or anything. But you would have thought that would have been a safety car. Car parked in the middle of the track.
Chicken guy's in the pit lane. Tim Tenair's in the pit lane. So Rivers is back in the lead. Oh! Tim Tenair's crashed into pit lane and lost his wheel.
No way.
And his car's currently
no.
doing donuts in the pit lane.
How unfortunate
his
is
car-
that for him?
His car's going down pit lane with 3 wheels.
Okay, so these intermediate conditions are starting to take their toll on people now. We've lost Tim Tenair, we've lost Hammer Time. We've got a yellow in sector 1.
Tim Tenair on my screen is parked in the Renault garage, so I do hope that the Quakes isn't pitting again this race.
Well, he has gone onto his intermediate tyres now. Tim 12 is still on the softs, so not so sure what he's doing. And Goy Kart is on the medium tyres.
All I can think is that Goy is a master at strategy. So
Oh, I'm gutted for him. I really hope that that's intentional and he's not just forgotten to change his tyres. As stupid as that
it
sounds.
wouldn't be first, but
No, but I really
I mean-
hope he's not made that mistake. Which I think he has done.
oh,
Yeah, look, he's far too slow. Oh, Goy. Anyway, Raven's Revenge is 12 seconds clear. As
Goy's sideways around the fast right.
Yeah, Goy needs to come in, put those intermediate tyres on.
Tim 12 is still going round on the soft tyres, but he's sideways everywhere.
Well,
so
if Goy pits, he should still come out effectively in about P12, maybe P13. Just needs to get that car back to the pits and then just push on those.
Oh, hang on, we've got yellow
City
flag.
Posh.
City Posh. Oh,
Turn 1 has taken a victim. So we are down to just 14 runners now. So this could be... And Toompatter's not actually driving either. His car is ghosted. So that will be... People will be promoted a position there. Tim 12 is having an
Goy Carp
absolute nightmare.
back in the pits.
Yeah,
They
right,
go back
well,
on the intermediates.
there we go, the pit crew getting their job done. Goy Kart. Now where is Agent Panda? This is
On
going to be
start finish line.
close. Potentially, is Goy going to hold on to this?
Goy's holding on to it, he's in 10th.
So Goy currently in a point scoring position.
Right. I'll have a look at this YouTube chat. Coandy
Yeah.
is intrigued by the preheated oven's name.
Intrigued. Tim 12's retired from the session. We are down to just 13 runners now. And there's not really too much going on. The AI car of the Tomb Patter has just overtaken Agent Panda. And it's a straight out drag race.
I think Panda just let him through, actually. No, oh, he's let Ravers through, so that's good.
Ah, there is Raver's Revenge, okay. So Raver's done 50% of this race now, dominated from start to finish. There will be podium interviews after this race as well, so we're looking forward to chatting to the guys.
Michael C or FTRL Houdini has put you can get away with running wide into turn 1 as long as you stay off the circuit long enough so it doesn't give you a penalty.
Oh, okay.
I'm intrigued to know how he knows this. He must have been looking for little secrets in order to find time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think what we're going to do now is give Raver's Revenge a little bit of airtime. Goy's picked up a 3-second time penalty, but if this wet weather's going to stay with us till the end, all Goy needs to do is just plod along and just go about his business.
I think another one from Michael C. We now know that preheated ovens tyres weren't heated up enough.
They weren't preheated enough on the formation lap. There we go. Yeah, we're just going to, as there's not much happening on track at the moment, which is unfortunate, I think we might just spectate Raver's Revenge.
Oh, Willie Tix was sideways through turn 1.
Was he? So what we might do is we might do a Paul de Resta and go on an onboard lap with Raver's Revenge.
Well, Goy Carp is currently following Raver's Revenge, so I mean they're good friends, so
they certainly are. Right, so on board Raver's Revenge for a lap of Hockenheim, so heading down into turn 1, shifting down to gear 6, cutting first corner nicely, getting a good exit, and then it is hammered down into turn 2 where you want to drop down to probably 2nd, maybe 3rd in the wet conditions, bit of a slide, and then this tricky sort of kink left, heading down towards the DRS straight, which you won't obviously have. The longest straight of the circuit, heading down into turn 4 of the hairpin, which I believe is the 2nd slowest corner on the calendar, if I'm not mistaken. I think you get down to about 40 miles an hour. I think that's only beaten by
Monaco.
By Monaco at the hairpin, yeah. So anyway, Ravers controls that nicely, dropping down into 3rd for this little left kink, followed by the right turn. Careful not to take too much curb there because you will lose traction. And then heading down in towards the final sector into the stadium section. Need to cut this corner nicely, not run too wide because that will kick you out ever so slightly, and then you can kind of go around this spoon corner heading into the stadium section, seeing all of his fans there in this tricky little complex, staying nice and tight in the second to last corner, taking the curb nicely, and then hammer down to start his next lap. That's a good solid lap there from Ravers.
Right, well, from what I can tell gap wise, Chicken Guy is losing about a second a lap to Ravers at the moment. The gap between Chicken and Matt Cause is staying the same, but Cress is catching Matt Cause. Oh, Matt Cause is in the pits.
Why is Matt Cause pit?
I shall stay on board and figure out what's happening.
Yeah, well, there's not much else going on. So I wonder why is Matt Cause pitting? What's he doing? Fresh intermediate tyres.
He's put a new front wing on.
What's he done? Maybe he's had a wobble without us realising. But he's out. He's going to be in P5.
He will come up in front of Willie Dix because he's at the last corner now.
Yeah, but that's a very interesting one from Matt Cause there. That's a real shame because he was nailed on for a podium by the looks of things. Right, he just needs to keep this clean now. We shouldn't have to pit again by the end of the race.
Well, unless it becomes heavy rain.
Yeah, well, some of these guys had been on there for 6 laps So that would mean they've got to do roughly 20 laps on the intermediate tyres, which might be a bit of an ask, but it should be manageable. Now, do we want, as we are at a bit of a quiet phase of the race, should we assess penalties or should we leave it?
I'd leave it till the end and make it more of a surprise. So
Yeah, just trying to think about more things to talk about as we go through.
there's some nice trees at turn 1.
Yeah, some
turn 2
lovely trees,
even.
yeah, beautiful.
Oh.
But yeah, as we can see, I mean, one thing I will do whilst we are currently in a beautiful helicopter view of Matt Causey's Toro Rosso, we would also like to say that every single week we will be live on this channel. For those of you that don't know, where most of you will do, 8 o'clock for Mondays, which will be Division 1, Tuesdays tonight, which will be Division 2, and then starting in a fortnight tomorrow will be the return of the Performance League. So it should be a very fun season.
I can speak for most drivers. Performance last season was most drivers' favourite. It just sort of popped last season, so we're hoping to get that going again this season.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the Quakes is closing in on Willy Tick slightly. He's down to 2.3 seconds. Goy is in a world of his own at the moment. He's got 10 seconds to Toon Power. But anyway,
to be fair, Goy usually isn't in the world of his own.
Yeah, that is a good point. Right, so the calendar, this season's calendar. So we are starting off obviously in Germany. Next week we are at Abu Dhabi, normally towards the end of the calendar, but we thought we'd mix it up a little bit. It's not featured in our calendar for the last couple of seasons, so we thought we'd bring it back. Then we are moving on to Spain. Then we are at Austria for round 4. China will be round 5. And then Mexico will be round 6. That concludes halfway through the season. Crest just picks up a 3-second time penalty, so extending those track
Willy
limits.
Tix has just been sideways through the fast right-hander.
Yeah, the Quakes is closing in on him, so hopefully we'll have something to talk about. And the preheated oven's catching up to Agent Panda as well. The second half of the calendar, round 7 we are at Singapore. Round 8 we are at Bahrain. Round 9...
Oh, the Quakes has just pit.
That's a strange call. Round 9 is Baku, round 10 is Canada, round 11 is Monza in Italy, and round 12 is the Paul Ricard circuit of France. So I'm wondering what the Quakes has done here.
I'm wondering if his inters aren't lasting as long as people think.
Yeah, possibly. But then again, you've got Blue Flag, who's just... Well, we've got a battle at least, because Simon, otherwise known as Blue Flag, is just behind the Quakes.
Well, unfortunately, Button didn't like the Performance League last season, but I think he was one of few.
Yeah. Well, he did miss a few weeks due to holiday and things like that and whatnot, but I think overall it was a very sort of successful thing. Everyone seemed to thoroughly enjoy himself. Right, the preheat oven has got past Agent Panda. We did unfortunately miss that. But as it stands, Pagani, I think it looks pretty nailed on for Ravers.
I would say that, but I don't want to give him any sort of jinx, so he can't blame me in any way.
No, that is a good point. Cress is closing by, I mean, minimal amounts. Raver seems to gain a tenth and then lose a few, so...
Yeah. He seems actually more stable in the intermediate tyres now than he was on the dry tyres.
Yeah, right. Well, Simon's back into the pits as well.
Willie takes his pit, Steph's pit, which was their teammate, so Steph's been held. So I'm really beginning to wonder about these tyres.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be evidence. Ravers is now the longest on these tyres, alongside with the preheated oven. So he doesn't want to leave that too long before he comes in. So yeah, it's died down a bit. What's your thoughts on this year's calendar, Pagani? Quite a few street circuits.
Um, I'll tell you more once I've driven them. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't really driven much on this game, unfortunately. I've been otherwise preoccupied, but I, I liked them on the last game, so I've just seen a brake duct rolling down pit lane. Um, it does appear to be a decent calendar this season, and it does come towards me usually at the end of the season, so
Yeah,
here's hoping.
should be good, mate.
I still get lost around France though, so that I'll have to work on that.
Exactly right. Well, the Quakes, Willy Tix is now between what 1.5 seconds behind the Quakes in P6. Matt Cause is closing very quickly up to the back of FTRL Daddy, but then he's got pretty much a whole pit stop to Cress and Chicken Guy. But then again, Matt Cause's tyres, he's only been on them for 4 laps now.
Ravers is in the pit.
Yeah. So Ravers back. Oh yeah, fresh intermediates now. So he's gonna see these out till the end, I should imagine.
Chicken Guy is in the pit after 9 laps. Matt Cause might be in trouble towards the end of this race.
He might be in trouble, but equally, he's only done a few laps on those, so there might not be.
Wait,
yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Ravers lasted 11 laps and he wouldn't have been pushing that much because he had a 14-second lead.
Yeah.
Matt Cause is expecting to do 14.
Well, on board
He
with
can
Willy,
do it,
yeah,
but
it's going to be a struggle. But yeah, he's on. Right, so Matt Cause he's about 12 seconds behind Chicken Guy, and then he's about 23 behind Cress.
the Rebel team have sent Daddy on his way and he was in the gravel coming out the pit lane, so I do hope that doesn't set the stall out for this stint.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. So, Ravers has a 6-second lead to Cress. Cress is on used intermediate, so I imagine he's going to have to go in again. So that could potentially help out Matt Cause, depending on how long Cress stays out. I imagine he will pit. He's not pit, so eat your words, Aaron. Is he going to go for a risky tactic and try and take these to the end? From what we've seen, that would be a bit of a silly move, but he's only got 7 laps left now.
7 laps. Goya's in the pits. He should come out in front of Agent Panda just.
Right, Willy Tix. He's only half a second now behind the Quakes. This is the only battle we've got on track. Agent Panda's back in the pits. Preheated oven. Moves up to P11. Yeah, this is the only battle we've got. I think the drivers will be pretty happy. Not obviously the ones that have DNF'd or whatnot, but the fact that it's not been too sort of crazy for them. At this point, they can just kind of get on with their own races. Because that, yeah, I know, I see that. That first race of the season is always quite dreaded, isn't it? It's always that sort of the nerves with the excitement. Everyone wants to do well. I think after that first race is done, you can kind of settle down. But Willy Tix is very close to the back of Quakes now. They could be looking at a move here.
They're both in overtake, but the Quakes has only got 8% battery.
Willy Tix needs to try and switch back this if he can. Oh no!
Oh, round the outside.
Lovely move.
That is a gutsy move. And Cress is in the pit lane.
Okay, right. Well, Cress has come in. Now, what will happen to Matt Cause? Will Matt Cause be able to get himself into P3? Cress has just come out. No, Matt Cause too far behind. But we do not. I have seen Cress get a few penalties though, I must say. But Ravers 18 seconds clear of the field at the moment.
He's done a very good job of this race so far.
Yeah, he's managed this beautifully, hasn't he? Just
yeah, he's
total control.
Stress and he's just chilled with the car at the moment. He's not pushing too hard. He's just like the lines he's taking. There's no curb. There's no.
Yeah, it's just absolute cruise control now. I don't think that this will be the story of the season in terms of the distance to the victories, but I imagine Ravers is going to pick up a few wins. I think he said to me that his aim for this season was to just try and break that curse of still not having a league race win. And if he can get this up tonight, it will fill him with confidence. He'll be over the moon, and it will kind of take that weight off of his shoulders. And speaking from experience, when you kind of get that first win, it is a massive weight off your shoulders, and then you find that you just drive a lot more comfortably now. As you know as well, mate, don't you?
Yeah, I got my first one last season, and I've been driving a bit better since.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you was superb last night. Kept me at bay massively.
But I had help.
But right, so Matt Cors is 8.5 seconds behind Cress, who is closing in on Chicken Guy. I've seen Cress get at least, I think he's got at least 3 penalties in this race. And Matt Cors probably has 1 or 2, but penalties could still play a factor, but only really to a couple of the drivers.
The preheated oven is catching Guy. Not at a substantial rate, but he is catching.
Yeah, the Quakes has just picked up a 3 second. Well, Goy's on a couple of lap fresher tyres, and I've seen Goy get 1 penalty. I don't know about the preheated oven. I'm pretty sure I've seen him get a couple himself. So I think anybody that yeah, go on.
I was going to say, while it's still a bit quiet, can I just say that Agent Panda, he's very new to league racing, and he's still in this race. He's done an amazing job considering it's like his first proper league race. I'm glad he's still in the race and doing well.
Well, the thing is, for people like that, like I said, if you look back to when FTRL Daddy first joined, go back a couple of months ago, he was in the same sort of position. He'd never done any league racing before, and with Agent Panda, he only got himself a full-time seat like a week ago, like where somebody else left. So he's had only like a week's worth of preparation, completely new to the game. Everything's new for him, and I think he deserves a massive amount of credit, because when you just finish your first race, and he will finish P12 if he finishes, because Toon Patter won't get that on his record because he's not been in the car. He left after a couple of laps. So yeah, he deserves a huge amount of credit. So good on him, I would say. Crest has closed down a second to Chicken Guy, so this is one to keep an eye on. Can't go on board with him because his car's doing the revving glitch, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is for me as well.
It seems to be a Ferrari thing, because it was happening to me yesterday as well, apparently.
To be fair, that could have just been you revving the nuts off the car.
Probably, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Oh,
Ravers with a penalty?
Well, if he picks up another 6 more, then he might be in trouble. Yeah, preheat oven, 7.5 seconds to go now. I don't think it's going to be enough.
I know from speaking to the preheated oven, which was difficult. I mean, I'm not sure ovens know English, but he conveyed to me that his target was to beat Guy, so...
Yep, I can vouch for you on that. So looking at position changes for the race, Ravers and Chicken Guy have remained in the same. Chris has moved up 3. Matt Cors has moved up 1. FTRL Daddy in P5. He's done an amazing job of this race. I think he's just gone off the radar a little bit here. But P5, Willie ticks up 6 positions. The Quakes is up 11 into P7. Steph's moved up 2 into P8. Simon's unfortunately lost 5, but a good recovery drive nonetheless for him. Goy's up 6 into a point scoring position. If Goy finishes in the points, we'll definitely get him in the podium interviews. Just see how he feels about his first ever point. He told me that this would be fantastic for him today if he was to get himself a point. So
the preheated ovens closes second in this lap.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to penalties slightly. Preheated oven in 11th. He's maintained position. Toon Patter's up 5, but he's not actually in his car. So Agent Panda will be up 3 positions. So good on him as far as I'm concerned. Let's give FTRL Daddy a little bit of airtime.
I think Simon was fairly nervous at the start of this race, and he got bullied a lot going into turn 1 and turn 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, he went down to last, and he's now back up to 9th. So it's been a great comeback from last year's Div 2 champion, like last season's Div 2 champion.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, not to forget is that Simon is the reigning Blue Flag. Sorry, is the reigning Div 2 champion. And good on him for that. So he's certainly going to be up there this year. But I think Simon's one of those people that, one of those people that he's extremely good at some tracks, and he maybe struggles a little bit at some others. He hasn't really got too many average tracks that he just kind of gets on with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, the preheated oven is really catching Goy now. He's down to 3 seconds. But he has no fuel and no energy, whereas Goy has plenty.
Well, his fuel light's on, so he might be in trouble with fuel.
Yeah. He just needs to pop it in. Just needs to pop it into lean and just keep his cool. It all depends on penalties, and we have got 2 laps. Well, they might only have 1 more lap actually, because Ravers has lapped him, hasn't he?
Yeah. Where is Ravers?
Well, he's not on
Ravers
lap
is the
34 yet.
hairpin.
Yeah, he's got about a lap and a half to go, Ravers.
I know Goy just got lapped by Matt Cause, so that might have been where a lot of the gap changed to the preheated oven came from.
Yeah, definitely. Hasn't got long. 2.5. If Goy can get to 3 seconds, then I know he's covered him, because I know he's only got 1 time penalty. So I'm pretty sure preheated oven's got 1. I'm pretty sure he has. But anyway, Ravers Revenge.
Preheated oven is in overtake mode. He is still pushing for this 10th place.
He's going for it. Right, Ravers Revenge starting his final lap of the Grand Prix. Takes turn 1 nice and easy. He's in hot lap mode. He's pushing. He wants to just get this over and done with now. Heading on to the straight. Cress is only 1.8 seconds behind Chicken Guy. Bit too much of an ask, I think, in 1 lap. But nevertheless, I'm sure he's going to give it a good go. Matt Cause in P4. Come round to start his final lap of the race. FTRL Daddy completely on his own. Willie Tix with a few penalties in P6, with the Quakes in P7. Prototype Steph only a couple of seconds behind. Blue Flag quite a distance down the road, as well as Goy, who only has a 1.5 second gap now to the preheated oven on what will be their final lap of the race. Toon Patter not in his car, and Agent Panda much the same. But we're going to go on board with Ravers Revenge, as but for any problems, he is entering into the stadium section.
Cress went down to less than a second, but I can't see it happening.
No, me neither. Ravers Revenge round the second to last corner. He's weaving around the final corner now.
I would laugh if he crashed.
He's not going to do that. And Ravers Revenge takes the checkered flag. It's his first ever race win. Massive congratulations to him. I know he's put in the hours, put in the work and plenty of practice, and he thoroughly deserves that win. So looking forward to speaking to him after the race. Chicken Guy is going to come around the final corner to take P2, and Cress comes home and takes P3. So both of those guys on their competitive debuts are going to be over the moon with that.
Preheated oven is right on Goy. No. Is he going to go for moving last cut? Oh, no. Preheated oven's going backwards. That hasn't got the plan. Okay.
Oh. And could this be Goy Carp? Has he kept his first ever point? He has. Goy Carp has got his first ever point in FTRL. His first ever point in league racing. So well done to you, Goy. Agent Panda's finished as well, so he's completed his first ever race. He's now pushing Ravens along, if you go on board with him. He was right up behind him. FTRL Daddy, brilliant performance from him, P5. Willie Tix has finished in 6th place. The Quakes is going to come home in P7. Prototype Steph in 8th, but I think he might have jumped him into 7th place now. Yeah,
Yes, he
Prototype
did.
Steph finished in 7th place. So there we are. Rover's taking the top step of the podium. Right, we're going to ask questions each to all drivers, Pagani. Just so you know.
Oh, are we?
Yep. Yep.
This can only go well.
There we go. Okay, so there's the final classifications. Unfortunately, we had some DNFs from City Posh Boo, the two Tims, Hammer Time, and from Bendel. So what I will do, as we are chilling now, I shall invite the lads into the party. Chicken Guy, Goy Carp's going to come in because I want to talk to him. Raver's Revenge, and Chris. Fantastic.
Penalties, there wasn't that many. Not as many as I was expecting. Woo!
Hi, mate. Right, now who are we waiting on? We're just waiting on Ravers. Yeah. Where is he? Unless he's run. There he is. Yeah.
Is that just in party settings?
Yeah, go if you just go into the party settings, and it should say allow your voice to be shared.
Yeah.
If you just change that to
Yeah,
always
might as
allow.
well.
Yep.
Okay.
All good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wicked. Right. Starting off, Raver's Revenge. Massive congratulations, mate. Was that as easy as it looked?
No. I'll tell you why, right? Because the race on the the bit before the race where you get like the weather and all that, it had 4 squares of dry and 3 squares of light rain. But
Yeah.
that light rain came on what lap was it? I can't remember. It was quite early, and I was
It was
thinking
about lap 8
4.
or something, wasn't it? Oh, was it that early?
Yeah.
I think I only noticed it about lap 7 or 8.
Yeah, it started really early, but it stayed like proper light for ages. So I didn't know what to do, and I was kind of waiting for everyone else to make a decision.
Yeah, it was really strange because when we saw the start and we saw everybody's sort of tyre allocations, we just kind of automatically assumed that it was going to be dry for the race, easy one stop, and then we started to notice clouds, and then we thought, what's it going to be? Is it going to be the soft runners going to kind of have to stop twice maybe, and the medium runners maybe overcook their choice? So it was a bit difficult, but I mean, I must say, it looked like a very comfortable and convincing win, but I imagine, because that's your first ever league race win, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that was what you said to me, is your aim for the season was to get your first race win, so you can kind of get that weight off your shoulders, and you've done that in the first round, so you've got to be confident going into the rest of the season now.
It's a long season, isn't it? So it's not like I'm not going to jump ahead of myself, but yeah, started off as mean to go on
Cool.
and all that.
Pagani?
Personally, I think you've been a different driver since you won the Goy Carp Invitational at the end of 2017 game. It inspired me when I won
Um,
that.
uh,
I'm wondering how this win in the Goy Carp Invitational has progressed you as a driver.
And as a person?
It's elevated me higher than the clouds that Goy is taller than, because he's 6'5". So yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, right, well, we'll come back to you, Ravers. Chicken Guy. Starting
Yep.
and finishing in P2. it seems like you had a bit of a quite a nice bit of pressure from Crest towards the end of that race. Then, mate, did you feel comfortable in the changeable conditions? How was your race? Talk us through it.
Well, didn't really have the best of starts, to be honest, because my game volume just like completely stopped working, so I couldn't hear my engine at all.
Nice.
So I had to spend the whole race just like staring at my little rev counter thing.
Did it not come back at any point?
Ideal. No. I was
No
just
way.
like quiet the whole race.
Oh,
It's happened before, so I don't know if there's something wrong with my game or what.
oh God
So
knows.
yeah, that was good. And then I was in like that little train for a while with Matt, and it might have been Hammer Time or someone. And then I can't remember how I got past them, but yeah, I just got past them. And then on the switch to Inters, it was like I think I timed that pretty well because I was in the pits just as DRS got disabled,
Nice.
and that's when they usually reckon that's like the best timing, something like that.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the race, like I couldn't hear at all if I was wheel spinning or what, so it was difficult, but I just about held on to it, and yeah, I was pretty happy with it, to be honest.
Nice. Well, that's your first kind of, I suppose, official competitive race in FTRL, so you can't have asked for much more. I know you went into the performance division at the back end of last year, but I think looking at your first full season, that's got to be a good starting point. But what's your kind of thoughts for the season? Are you aiming to try and be in the promotion pack, or are you just trying to aim for a bit of consistency? What are you looking to do?
Well, Cress and I were just saying then, if we can keep getting solid podiums like that, like you can't really ask for more than that.
No.
So I don't know. We'll just take each race as it comes, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
it's a long way to go still. So we'll
Absolutely.
just see what happens.
Yeah, well, congratulations, mate. Pagani, got anything to add on that? No?
Please don't crash into the preheated oven during the season, otherwise I won't be able to take it.
Right, well,
No,
Chris,
he
go
sort
on.
of covered
Go on.
everything, so
Nice.
it was a great race.
Cool.
Thank
Right,
you.
Chris, moving on to you, mate.
Yeah.
First of all, you put the car on pole.
Yeah.
And what actually happened? I saw you had a incident with the Quakes or something, didn't you, in quali?
Yeah, he was just in the middle of the track, and I thought he was going to move, and then he just didn't move, so I crashed into the back of him.
What a nightmare. Because
Yeah.
literally, we was like, all right, well, Chris has got a pole. We completely forgot within about a minute that you'd got the
Yeah.
the 5 place grid penalty or whatever it was. But I mean, considering you had that kind of setback to finish on the podium and only a second behind Chicken Guy at the end, you got to be fairly pleased with that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was
Yeah?
quite fun. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think a lot of people were tipping the Ferrari to be the constructors' champions this year. So,
Yeah.
do you see yourself trying to better your teammate, or are you just trying to win the constructors outright? Not really bothering who gets more points.
Yeah, just try and win the constructors.
Nice. Cool. And one final question for you, mate. What's your sort of thoughts on the calendar? the
I think
season.
it's quite good.
Yeah, quite
Some
happy with it?
tracks I'm quite good at, and some I'm not quite so good at, so yeah.
Well, I've seen you up there on some of the time trial times, right up towards the
Yeah.
top, so we'll be keeping an eye on you this season, pal.
Right.
But no, good job tonight, mate.
Thanks.
Right, Goy Carp. Let's have
Yes!
a chat, mate.
What's up?
Well, we thought we'd bring you into the podium interview. It's your first ever point in league racing. You said that was your aim, just to try and get your first points on the board. You've done it in the first race, mate. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling absolutely on top of the world, mate. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to try and get just 1 point. 1 point was the target, and we managed to achieve that, man.
Yeah.
I also wanted, well, there were 2 other targets. One, finish the race, and 2, just try and keep it clean. We managed to finish the race, but unfortunately I ended up with 1 penalty, but I think that's okay. I think
Yeah, that's all right. Considering what happened in the race, because you started on softs, then you went on to
Yes.
mediums for a lap. Was that user error or was that a game issue?
That was a massive error.
Yeah.
When I was due for my pit change, and I was trying to watch other cars to make sure that they were all going on to either inters or mediums or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a massive error. And as soon as I put the mediums on, I did that 1 lap, and it just felt horrendous. So I got those inters on ASAP. You just felt the difference.
Nice. Well, you came under a bit of pressure at the end of the race from the preheated oven. He closed up to about, well, I think it was like less than a second heading into the final sector. Was you feeling the pressure at that point, or was you just trying to concentrate on the finish line?
100%, man. He had the pace over me, and I think it was the conditions, you know, and that kind of like added pressure. Like I could feel the time drifting away.
Yeah.
And that very last lap, I believe he attempts to make a move, but luckily I close off the space and he drops off, and yeah, I just managed to get away. But yeah, it was tough. I think if anything, that kept me on my toes. Like it kept me concentrating, because he had at one point he had a 20-second gap, and I had a couple of slip-ups. So to make that up, fair play.
Happy days, mate. Well, I am chuffed for you. Pagani, have you got anything to ask, Goy?
How does it feel to now be an official point scorer in FTRL?
Absolutely awesome. Oh, it's a dream come true.
I just want to touch on something quickly, Goy. So I just want, obviously, there's been a lot of speculation about what your future holds. And obviously with Raikkonen leaving Ferrari and Leclerc getting the seat, was you disappointed that you didn't get the call, or...?
Well, if I'm honest, we did speak behind closed doors, but...
Oh, you did? Okay.
You know, yeah, but FTRL is the way forward, guys. I see where this league's going, and I want to be a part of that.
Yeah,
so
well...
Ferrari can take a back seat.
And we saw you turn down a very prestigious esports team in the week as well, which had absolutely no influence from me.
Yes.
But no, honestly, mate, well done. Really, really chuffed for you.
Yeah, it's whirlwind week. Thank you.
Happy days. Right, Ravers, coming to you, mate, for the final time. Anything further you'd like to add? Any comments about the race? Anything at all?
I saw that Cress had got that grid penalty, and I thought I had no idea what it was for, so I thought I'll just carry on. If he hadn't have got that, it probably would have been a different story, but I don't know, yeah, so good race, I suppose.
Yeah, happy days. Well, and finally, moving on to Abu Dhabi next week, you seem to have quite eventful races at Abu Dhabi, especially on the last game, if I'm not mistaken. So are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, have I done it? I think I've done a trial time. It's one of those ones I've not really been on. I think I skipped it on the career as well, so need to go and do some practice, I think. But,
so we'll see you battling down the bottom end of the points at the next week then, mate, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. As long as I score points, man, I'm happy. I've got to win, so...
Happy days. Right, well done to you all. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, Pagani. And we shall see you all next week on Monday for Abu Dhabi. And then please join myself and Pagani and possibly Panda on Tuesday. So thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you next week.